he's missed games. I think he went out on October 20th. He's missed more than 20 games. What is that like for a player trying to get himself back in?
It's not easy, and he only had a couple of games before that too. I mean, it was right at the beginning of the season, so he hasn't really had a chance to settle into the season at all. So it'll take some time for sure. But it's great to have him back, and I think he'll get playing time right away, and we'll try to let him get comfortable the next few games and bump his minutes up from there.
Steve, what kind of value does or can or has Kevon added to a team where he's got the fourth most service time and he's only 23?
Yeah, Loon's been an important part of our team the last couple of years. So on a team that is so new with so many young guys, we need as much continuity as possible. And Loon provides that, not just with his experience, but just the way he is anyway. He's a worker. He's a guy who gets it. He understands it, and he has a good feel for the game, and very little, if any, maintenance at all. With Loon, it's just a matter of getting healthy and finding his rhythm again.
Steve, John Gruden continues to use the Warriors as an example about the Raiders' youth and injuries, and what a coach must face. What's it been like for you, just since the season started? You had warned us this is the new reality, and I guess it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've faced probably an unprecedented situation, losing two All-Stars to season-ending injuries within 2 games of each other during the NBA Finals. I don't think that's ever happened before. And then, of course, the season starts, and whatever it was, 3 or 4 games in, Steph goes down. So our team has been decimated by injury, and it changed the entire outlook of the season. So we've adjusted. The young guys are getting long looks. We're able to evaluate them.
Do the depths help you appreciate the heights you reached? I mean, you won with the Bills. I'm just wondering, this stretch, people seem to expect teams to win all the time. They booed Tom Brady yesterday because something,
Yeah.
they're not winning 10 years in a row.
Yeah, I don't blame them, man. He was hungry. Just cat. It's just the nature of sports. You come to see something for a while, you expect it to last forever. Doesn't work that way. And so as a coach, you try to manage the expectations and manage the outside noise, and do your best to communicate with the team and set realistic goals. And I think our guys have done a really good job of locking in on the details, getting better in the areas where we've asked them to. And individually, there's some guys having really promising seasons, and that will pay off for us and for them, long term. And that's all important. Every season is important. The 5 years that we went to the finals were preceded by really important years in the growth of Steph and Klay, and in the acquisitions of Andre Iguodala and Sean Livingston. So we were able to put something together, but it didn't just happen all at once. It happened over time, and that's how this always works. So we're trying to use this year to build up our resources and to help our young players improve and put ourselves in a better position going forward.
Is there any minutes limit on D'Angelo or Draymond? I know you kind of ended the trip around that 28 range.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Any minutes limit on D'Angelo or Draymond? I know they were kind of around 28 towards the end.
Yeah, I think their minutes can go up. I haven't talked to Rick about it today, but that was sort of what we talked about on the road. Was we give them a few games, and I think both guys should be available for more time tonight.
Damian Lee was originally listed as probable, I think. Now he's out. Was there a step back and he's recovering?
There was no setback. He just needs a little more work. he has had that hand in a cast for the last month, whatever it is. So he needs, we felt like he needed another day to scrimmage. He'll scrimmage tomorrow with our younger players, and should be ready to go on Wednesday.
See, there's not a lot of situations where you give the guys 2 days off. Is there a way you can tell whether it's shoot around or any time before tip-off, just what, if any, effect having a couple of days away will have on guys?
Well, we tried to have a pretty rigorous shoot-around, comparatively speaking, and get a lot of shots up, get a good sweat going. But the days off were necessary given the travel and everything else. So if I need to, I'll call some early timeouts. But I think we'll have a lot of energy tonight. Our guys are happy to be home.
Coach, the Grizzlies have a couple of exciting young players, John Morant and Jaren Jackson. Coaching so many young guys yourself this season compared to previous seasons, have you found that it changes the way that you look at young players around the league, maybe their development milestones or things like that, just because it's a little bit different for you as a coach this year?
I just think that there are common themes with young players these days. You can watch them, whether they're your own players or other players around the league. You can see mistakes that they make are very similar. It's a good reminder. A lot of the players who are coming into this league are really, really young. They're maybe a year or two out of college. And, the game is very different. The pro game is very different from the college game. So the mistakes that you see are kind of similar from one game to the next that you watch.
Coach, you were very outspoken about more stringent gun laws after the Gilroy Garlic Festival shooting, and just now, 6 months later, how do you reflect back on what needs to be done, what didn't happen, and what should be done?
Well, there's a bill sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk. It's been there for a long time that the House passed. It's background checks that 90+% of Americans favor, and it's a nonpartisan issue. It's a safety issue, and the first thing that has to happen is our government officials have to decide that the safety of our citizens is more important than the money they receive from the NRA. So that's number one. I think there are lots of different measures that could happen, but the number one goal in my mind is to start at the beginning with the background check in that bill that has already passed the House, and that would be a good start.
Gareth over here.
John Morant could be back tonight coming off of those back spasms from the collision with the camera person. Do you feel like that was just unfortunate circumstance, that collision, or do you wonder about a safety issue, either players hurt in those collisions or even for the camera people with big bodies falling on them?
Yeah, I worry about that, the proximity of the camera people and the vulnerability of them. Sitting underneath the basket, there's a lot of contact under their bodies falling into them, and then they're holding that big camera. It feels like a lot of things could go wrong. So I do worry about that. I'm not sure what needs to happen, but I would think the league would be, especially if players are getting injured, I would think the league would be considering their options.
Steve, great.
One more?
Yeah, it looks like a couple of the league's top rookies will be out there tonight. Just wondering what you think about, Eric's place among the top rookies, including the guy you're going against tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I pay close attention to. We played Memphis a couple weeks ago, so I know that Morant is playing very well. I couldn't even begin to tell you who else, what other rookies are on that list, just because it's not my focus. But I do know how lucky we are to have Eric, and how mature he is, how coachable he is, and big, strong, talented player. And we were lucky to get him in the second round, and lucky to have him this year. A lot of times, the guys who excel as rookies are the ones who are most fortunate to receive the opportunity to play. And so Eric has seized his opportunity and run with it.
Great, thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Thank you.